kay Vitaly Zdorovetskiy, yung Russian vlogger na nakulong for harassment dito sa DGC. He has served out his sentence. He is now on queue for deportation back to Russia.
Finally been deported, and yeah, we'll break down what that means for him and what's coming next soon. But before jumping ahead, you've got to see how this whole mess even started, especially if you weren't locked in from day one and missed the early moves that set everything off. For years, Vitaly's 𝗩𝗶𝘁 persona was built on pure chaos and wild energy, unpredictable moves, line-crossing moments, and pushing every situation to the edge was the whole image. That's what blew him up fast. Pranks leveled up into stunts, stunts flipped into shock moments, and that shock value stacked massive views across the internet. But that bold energy, that loud confidence, that untouchable vibe is gone now, instead of rolling cameras. And chasing clicks, Vitaly found himself sitting inside a detention facility in the Philippines. There was no bail, no release date, and no clear timeline on what was coming next at all. Everything was locked up in uncertainty, and that silence made it even heavier. The internet didn't see this as some wild overreaction either. Most people felt like this moment had been loading for years, slowly stacking pressure. This wasn't about one bad stream or one messy decision. It came from repeated choices, non-stop escalation, and a lifestyle that kept smashing past limits without ever hitting the brakes. His rise was fast, but every comeback came loaded with controversy, and each one hit harder than the last. Every reinvention pushed things further, and by early April 2025, it all finally collided. When Vitaly landed in the Philippines that month, the plan wasn't new at all. New country, same formula. Another IRL livestream meant to turn real life into non-stop content. The audience expected the usual chaos. Loud moments, confrontations, edgy jokes, shock value, humor, and that familiar wild energy stitched together through a camera lens. But almost right away, something fell off. Instead of culture, travel, or everyday experiences, the stream zoomed in on uncomfortable encounters, arguments with strangers, and jokes that crossed lines way too easily. What used to feel awkward quickly turned straight up disturbing. Viewers weren't laughing this time. People were confused, uneasy, and a lot of them were mad. Clips spread fast, and Filipinos who saw the footage called it disrespectful and alarming. Stuff that might have been brushed off as just content before didn't slide anymore, especially when it involved real people in public spaces.
Excuse me, madam,
Sorry.
I'm gonna fucking rob you if you keep walking away. I want to give you money. No, okay.
Once those clips started circulating locally, things moved quick. On April 3rd, Filipino authorities detained Vitaly.
Vitaly Zdorovetskiy. Yeah. Good evening. Okay, here's your Miranda rights. Okay, sir. You have the right to remain silent.
No spectacle, no dramatic raid, just a sudden stop that changed everything. The Bureau of Immigration dropped a blunt statement, officially labeling him an undesirable foreign national. That label gets used when someone's actions break local rules and mess with public order, plain and simple. Most people thought that meant a fast deportation and an easy exit, but that's not how it played out at all. Instead of a quick send-off, things dragged on, flipped expectations, and set the stage for an even messier situation. Instead, Vitaly was moved into a detention facility for legal processing, and that one move flipped the whole situation upside down.
Having a really bad time in prison. He is having intense health issues. They're not going to release him for that. They're taking care of that in the hospital.
Deportation is usually quick and clean, but legal processing is a slow grind, especially in a system that takes public behavior and recorded evidence very seriously. This wasn't some short-term holding spot either. No phones, no cameras, no special treatment, no shortcuts at all. This is the kind of place where people can be stuck for months, even years before they ever see a courtroom. Once those doors closed, everything changed fast. In Vitaly's case, there was no confirmed trial date, no option for bail, and no clear timeline to point at. As days turned into weeks, more issues started stacking up. Authorities cited multiple counts, including theft-related accusations, harassment violations, and cyber offenses tied directly to live-streamed behavior. There were also reports of a confrontation involving a security guard during the arrest, which only made things messier. But the biggest problem for Vitaly wasn't talk or rumors, it was evidence. Recorded clips, saved streams, and digital receipts that didn't disappear and couldn't be talked away. Most of this case wasn't built on witness talk or second-hand stories at all. It came straight from his own livestream footage, broadcast live to thousands, and left sitting online for anyone to replay. When the camera never shuts off, there's no room to argue context or twist the story. Every moment was right there, uncut and undeniable. Normally, someone locked in this situation might expect backup from their home country. That didn't happen here. Officials from his country of birth made it clear. Citizens citizens are expected to respect local laws, and there would be no intervention, no embassy lawyer stepping in, no diplomatic pressure, no public defense. Some reporters even labeled the situation as self-inflicted, saying the consequences matched the choices. As for the United States, where Vital also has ties, it was radio silence, no official statements, no involvement at all. Governments usually step in when things look unclear or unfair, but this wasn't one of those cases. Everything was documented frame by frame. Even high-ranking immigration officials spoke up. The president publicly described the behavior seen in the footage as disrespectful and inappropriate. The Secretary of Justice confirmed Vital would not be deported until every single legal issue was fully resolved. Inside the detention center, conditions were rough, food options were limited, outside meals were banned, and there was zero internet access. Supporters tried sending supplies, but strict rules shut that down fast. Reports also surfaced about health concerns, including heart irregularities and withdrawal symptoms from supplements or substances he had relied on before. The reality inside was nothing like life on camera, and there was no filter to soften it. Medical care was basic, nothing fancy at all, just whatever the facility could offer. No special treatment, no upgrades, no exceptions. Online reactions rolled in, but they were quieter than anyone expected. Some longtime viewers admitted they were disappointed, saying they hoped he would eventually switch directions and clean things up. Others felt he'd been spiraling for years and saw this as the unavoidable ending to a long build-up. What stood out most, though, was what didn't happen. There was no massive online push demanding his release, no viral petitions taking over timelines. Instead, the conversation shifted fast toward boundaries. People started talking about where content crosses the line, especially when cameras are rolling in foreign countries. Fame doesn't cancel local laws. Cameras don't give immunity. His cameraman also got pulled into the situation. Reports say he left the Philippines shortly after the arrest and traveled to Taiwan. Authorities later stated he could face charges if he returned, adding yet another layer of legal trouble to an already complicated mess. Just days before everything completely fell apart, Vitaly uploaded an emotional video trying to flip the narrative. He showed charitable moments, talked about personal growth, and pushed the idea that he was changing for the better. But by then, it was already too late. Authorities were deep into reviewing footage, and the damage was already done. A lot of viewers didn't buy it. Many felt the timing said everything, and the message landed flat. Then, months passed with almost total silence. No updates, no appearances, nothing at all. Recently, rumors blew up online. Wild claims spread fast, including fake reports saying he'd been seriously injured in custody. Those stories turned out to be straight-up hoaxes. Instead, new photos and videos surfaced showing a visibly changed Vitaly. Longer hair, a full beard, and a look that barely resembled the loud persona people remembered. Not long after, a press conference finally confirmed what many didn't expect.
Si Vitaly po ay US green card holder pero Russian citizen. So ang normal process niya na hindi yung country of residence kundi yung passport of origin. Ang passport niya po ay galing sa Russia.
Salamat po, Secretary Rebullia. Ang process po ng deportation sa Bureau of Immigration is nag-issue na po ng deportation order against Vitaly Zdorovetskiy, ang Board of Commissioners. Ang pag-deport sa kanya ay subject to clearances ng NBI at saka yung courts kung saan siya nagkaroon ng kaso. Rin po kami sa pagde-deporta ng lugar niya, yung bansa niya, which is Russia.
Vital was officially going to be deported. The situation that started as content had reached its final turning point and there was no spinning it anymore. Officials later announced that his legal cases in the Philippines were officially resolved, clearing the path for deportation to move forward. Coordination was still happening behind the scenes, but one detail was locked in. The destination was Russia, where he still holds citizenship. That news raised a whole new set of questions fast. Deportation means he's out of detention, sure, but it doesn't mean a fresh start or a clean slate. Streaming in Russia is a completely different game. YouTube monetization has been blocked since 2022, cutting off a major income lane. TikTok live streaming comes with tight restrictions, and platforms like Instagram and Facebook don't operate the same way either. The kind of IRL streaming Vitaly built his career on, that style runs straight into heavy regulation. Public nuisance behavior, confrontations, and shock-driven content can turn into legal trouble real quick. So even though he's no longer behind bars, the future ahead doesn't look anything like the past he once thrived in. His channels are quiet, his team is scattered, and the high-speed lifestyle he once flexed is completely gone. Whether people feel sympathy or straight-up criticism, one thing is crystal clear. This moment permanently shifted his path, not because of one bad move, but because years of unchecked behavior finally slammed into real-world consequences. The internet can make people feel untouchable, but laws don't vanish the second a live stream goes live. Cameras don't erase responsibility, and clicks don't cancel consequences. When you travel, you play by that country's rules. When you film real people, you respect boundaries. And when you broadcast your life in real time, that footage lives forever, no matter how much you wish it didn't. So now the real question isn't whether Vitaly is free or not, it's whether this is the moment where everything finally changes, or if the same patterns just repeat somewhere else under a different. What do you think? Is this really the end of that era, or just another chapter waiting to be written? This story has a lot of layers, and everyone's got an opinion. Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit like, share it around, and subscribe for more deep dives right here on Fame Rant Daily.